October 17th, 2024. Strait of Hormuz, 3:47 p.m. local time. Beneath a blazing afternoon sun and a cloudless sky, 3 United States Navy Arleigh Burke class-guided missile destroyers move in tight formation through the narrowest maritime choke point on Earth. USS Gravely, DDG-107, USS Laboon, DDG-58, and USS Mason, DDG-87, escort a 5-ship commercial oil tanker convoy through international waters only 33.7 kilometers wide at its most constricted point. Each destroyer displaces approximately 9,200 metric tons, measures 155.3 meters in length, and is powered by 4 General Electric LM2500-30 gas turbines producing combined 100,000 shaft horsepower. Maximum speed exceeds 30 knots. Crew complement averages 280 personnel per ship. The core of their combat capability is the Aegis combat system, centered on the N/Spy, 1D phase array radar capable of tracking more than 300 aerial and surface targets simultaneously and guiding dozens of interceptor missiles at once. Each ship carries a 96-cell Mk-41 vertical launch system loaded with SM-2 and SM-6 surface-to-air missiles, RIM-116 rolling airframe missiles, Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles, and anti-submarine weapons. Unit cost per destroyer, approximately $1.8 billion. This is not just a convoy escort. This is a demonstration of global maritime doctrine. 33% of the world's seaborne oil supply passes through this corridor every day. If this waterway closes, global energy markets destabilize within hours. Insurance rates spike. Shipping halts. Strategic credibility shifts. At 3:47 p.m., 52 anti-ship missiles erupt from Iranian territory on both sides of the strait. Like, subscribe, and stay with us for the complete break. The Strait of Hormuz lies between the Omani-Musandam Peninsula and Iran's southern coastline. The navigable channel for large commercial vessels is only 3.2 kilometers wide in each direction, separated by a narrow buffer zone. Iranian territory dominates the northern shore, dotted with radar stations, missile batteries, naval bases, and hardened underground facilities built over 4 decades. At 3:15 p.m., U.S. Navy signals intelligence platforms detect a surge in encrypted Iranian communications. Traffic patterns shift across Revolutionary Guard Naval Command frequencies. Correlation algorithms flag the spike as statistically anomalous. On the bridge of USS Gravely, Captain Michelle Rodriguez studies the tactical display. The Aegis system highlights multiple radar emissions activating along the coast and on Iranian-controlled islands. The situation matters because radar activation in this region is not routine. Iranian coastal batteries typically operate in passive mode, relying on off-board targeting data to avoid detection. Active radar suggests imminent engagement. What they see is not just a signal pattern. It is a posture change. The Strait of Hormuz is 167 kilometers long. At its narrowest point, 21 nautical miles wide. Depth varies from 60 to 200 meters, making submarine operations feasible but constrained. Iran has spent decades fortifying this corridor. Coastal defense systems include Nor and Qatar anti-ship cruise missiles, derived from the Chinese C-802 platform. These missiles measure approximately 6.39 meters in length, weigh 715 kilograms, and carry a 165-kilogram high-explosive fragmentation warhead. Maximum range is estimated at 120 kilometers. Terminal phase speed reaches approximately Mach 0.9. Flight profile is sea skimming, descending 5 to 7 meters above the surface in the final approach to reduce radar detection. Mobile launchers, concealed in hardened bunkers, and civilian infrastructure allow rapid relocation. Fast attack craft, including PACAP and Zulfiqar-class boats, mount lighter anti-ship missiles and heavy machine guns for swarm tactics. Unit cost per missile is estimated at $300,000 to $500,000. Manufacturing time, several months per batch. This architecture is designed for one objective: saturation. Overwhelm defenses not with precision. By mid-afternoon, the 3 U.S. destroyers enter the narrowest segment of the strait. The oil tankers trail behind in a staggered formation. Civilian traffic is moderate. Sea state is calm. Visibility exceeds 20 kilometers. Iranian territory flanks both sides. Islands, Keshem, Kish, and Abu Musa, create layered firing positions. This geometry creates what naval tacticians call a kill box, a confined area where an adversary can concentrate fire from multiple axes, limiting maneuver space and reaction time. On Iranian command screens in Bandar Abbas, tracking data shows the American formation at the center of overlapping engagement envelopes. The assumption collapses here. The kill box works only if the defender cannot see, cannot react, and cannot reach back. Inside a hardened operations bunker beneath Bandar Abbas Naval Base, Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders issue the final transmission. Operation Martyrdom is authorized. 9 launch zones receive the code. For coastal missile batteries, 3 fast attack boat squadrons, 2 island-based launch positions. Their objective is not just to damage. It is to humiliate, sink American warships in international waters, seize or destroy commercial tankers, demonstrate that the Strait of Hormuz can be closed at will. What follows is not controlled by command. It is controlled by physics, sensors, and time. At 3:47 and 8 seconds p.m., USS Gravelease and /Spy 1D radar detects multiple high-velocity objects lifting from the Iranian coastline. The system automatically classifies the signatures. The alert flashes across all 3 combat information centers. Vampire, Vampire, Vampire. 52 inbound tracks. Bearings from north, northeast, and west. Ranges between 12 and 30 nautical miles. Closing speeds exceeding 900 kilometers per hour. Within seconds, the Aegis system distributes targeting data across the formation via cooperative engagement capability links. Each destroyer now sees the same tactical picture. Captain Rodriguez authorizes full defensive engagement. The window is measured in seconds. Vertical launch system hatches open across all 3 ships. SM-2 Block I interceptors ignite in rapid succession. Each missile is 4.72 meters long, weighs 708 kilograms, and costs approximately $2.5 million. Maximum range exceeds 160 kilometers. Guidance is semi-active radar homing, supported by the Aegis fire control system. 64 interceptors launch in under 40 seconds. The cost ratio is immediate and unforgiving. A $160 million defensive salvo against a $20 million offensive package. The mathematics are brutal, but the objective is survival. First intercept occurs at approximately 20 kilometers from the formation. The SM-2 detonates within lethal proximity of the inbound missile. Debris scatters across the water. Second, third, fourth. By 3:48 and 30 seconds p.m., more than half of the Iranian missiles are destroyed in the mid-course phase. But saturation works on probability. Some penetrate. Attrition on the tactical map. Interior of USS Gravely CIC. Close-up of Aegis displays showing red tracks blinking out one by one. Percentage meter filling to 50% neutralized. Mid-course phase. Operators tracking remaining vectors. Steady. Focus atmosphere. For K-realism. Penetrators emerge. Animated battlespace visualization, where a handful of red tracks continue past the fading intercept zone, highlighted in amber with label leakers. Inner defense zone. Range rings collapsing rapidly. Warning pulses intensifying. Smooth zoom into surviving threats. 8K analytical style. Vertical launch system hatches open across all 3 ships. SM-2 Block I interceptors ignite in rapid succession. Each missile is 4.72 meters long, weighs 708 kilograms, and costs approximately $2.5 million. Maximum range exceeds 160 kilometers. Guidance is semi-active radar homing, supported by the Aegis fire control system. 64 interceptors launch in under 40 seconds. The cost ratio is immediate and unforgiving. A $160 million defensive salvo against a $20 million offensive package. The mathematics are brutal, but the objective is survival. 3:48 p.m. Intercept window. First intercept occurs at approximately 20 kilometers from the formation. The SM-2 detonates within lethal proximity of the inbound missile. Debris scatters across the water. Second, third, fourth. By 3:48 and 30 seconds p.m., more than half of the Iranian missiles are destroyed in the mid-course phase. But saturation works on probability. Some penetrate. 3:48 and 45 seconds p.m., point defense activated. 36 RIM, 116 rolling airframe missiles launched from the decks. Each RAM missile is 2.79 meters long, weighs 73.5 kilograms, and uses infrared and radio frequency guidance to autonomously home and on targets. Unit cost, approximately $900,000. This is the second defensive layer. Explosions strobe across the sky as missiles are destroyed at ranges under 5 kilometers. At this point, 23 Iranian missiles remain. Time to impact, 30 seconds. 3:49 p.m. Electronic warfare. USS Masons and /SLQ-32V 6 electronic warfare suite activates full-spectrum jamming. Chaff rockets deploy metallic clouds into the air, creating false radar targets. Decoys splash into water, emitting infrared and radar signatures. 19 missiles lose lock. They spiral. They dive. They impact the sea harmlessly. For remain, 3:49 and 35 seconds p.m., final defense. Phalanx close-in weapon systems rotate into firing position. Each system fires 20mm depleted uranium rounds at a rate of 4,500 rounds per minute. Combined, 6 systems create a wall of metal. First missile disintegrates at 800 meters. Second at 600. Third at 400. The fourth descends toward USS Gravely's midships. The gunfire misses. The missile impacts the water 20 meters from the hull. The detonation sends a shockwave and shrapnel into the ship's side. 3 sailors are wounded by debris. The hull is dented. Systems remain operational. 3:49 and 45 seconds p.m. Attack ends. 52 missiles launched. 51 destroyed or diverted. 0 ships sunk. The ambush fails, but the response is already in motion. 3:48 p.m. Counterstrike authorized. Even as missiles are still inbound, the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group, positioned 45 nautical miles away in the Gulf of Oman, receives the engagement report. Admiral Robert Hayes issues the order. Launch full deck strike. This is not retaliation. This is neutralization. 3:48 p.m. Air wing launch. 32F divided by -18E divided by F Super Hornets launch from a carrier deck. Each aircraft is 18.3 meters long, capable of speeds exceeding Mach 1.8, and carries a combat radius of approximately 720 kilometers. Payload capacity exceeds 8,000 kilograms. Armament per aircraft includes 4 AGM-154 joint standoff weapons, 2 AGM-88 HARM anti-radiation missiles, and 2 AM-120 AMRAAM air-to-air missiles. Cost per aircraft, approximately $67 million. 3:49 p.m. Rotary strike. 8 AH-64E Apache helicopters, already airborne from USS Bataan, receive updated coordinates. Each Apache carries 16 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. Total, 128 missiles. Range, 8 kilometers per missile. Guidance, laser and radar. Their targets, fast attack boats attempting to flee. 3:50 p.m. Strike Eagles. 4 U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagles on combat air patrol redirect. Each aircraft carries 12 GBU, 38 JDM precision bombs. Payload, 500-pound warheads with GPS guidance. Circular error probable, less than 5 meters. 3:51 p.m. Strategic bombers. 2B, 1B Lancers orbiting over the Gulf of Oman open their weapons bays. Each carries 36 AGM-158 JSSMER stealth cruise missiles. Range, over 925 kilometers. Speed, high subsonic. Unit cost per missile, approximately $1.3 million. 3:52 p.m. Naval strike. USS Gravely, Laboon, and Mason launched 72 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. Each missile weighs 1,300 kilograms, carries a 450-kilogram warhead, and has a range exceeding 1,600 kilometers. Cost per unit, approximately $2 million. The kill box becomes a launch zone. 3:53 p.m. Electronic dominance. 6EA, 18G Growler aircraft jam Iranian air defense radars. Fire control systems lose lock. Command networks fragment. The assumption of layered defense collapses. 3:54 p.m. Blinding the coast. 64 AGM. 88 HARM missile strike radar installations along 150 kilometers of coastline. 32 radar stations are destroyed. Iran's southern air defense network goes dark. 3:56 p.m. Coastal batteries destroyed. Joint standoff weapons and Tomahawks hit 4 missile batteries. Launchers, command trailers, and ammunition bunkers erupt in chain detonations. Replacement time measured in years. 3:58 p.m. Fast attack boats eliminated. Apaches fire 128 Hellfires. 12 Iranian boats are destroyed. No vessels escape. 4 p.m. Command nodes hit. Jassim-Yar missiles strike Bandar Abbas Naval Base and regional headquarters. Operations centers collapse. Fuel depots ignite. Communications hubs are obliterated. 4:02 p.m. Production facilities. 15 delivered dams on missile assembly plants and storage bunkers. Estimated 40 missiles are destroyed in underground facilities. Manufacturing lines are buried. 4:05 p.m. Military command. Tomahawks strike regional military command buildings and air defense coordination centers. The ability to direct forces collapses. 4:08 p.m. Logistics targeted. Ammunition depots, fuel refineries, radar production plants, and training centers are destroyed. The infrastructure of sustainment is eliminated. 4:12 p.m. Allied strike. Royal Air Force Typhoons launch 32 Storm Shadow cruise missiles. Naval maintenance facilities are destroyed. Fleet repair capability is removed. 4:15 p.m. Surveillance nodes. Observation posts and satellite ground stations are hit. Iran loses visibility over the strait. 4:24 p.m. Operation complete. Total munitions delivered. 544 precision weapons. Targets destroyed. 19 major military bases and 38 supporting facilities. Estimated Iranian casualties. Approximately 3,124 military personnel. All U.S. aircraft returned safely. 3 U.S. sailors wounded. No ships lost. Analysis. The strategic shift. This is not just a failed ambush. This is a doctrinal collapse. Iran invested decades and billions of dollars into a strategy of denial, saturation, threat, deterrence through volume. The response demonstrates a new equation. The cost of attack, approximately $25 million in missiles. The cost of response, over $1.5 billion in precision strikes. But the value destroyed is measured in strategic capability, not currency. Coastal defense networks, command structures, manufacturing capacity, surveillance architecture. What changed is not the balance of firepower. It is the balance of credibility. The Strait of Hormuz does not close. It becomes a test. Closing. Operation Iron Guardian succeeds because of integration. Sensors, shooters, aircraft, ships, and satellites operate as a single network. The lesson is not that saturation fails. The lesson is that transparency and reach now define modern warfare. What the Strait of Hormuz represents is not just a shipping lane. It is a measure of global stability. Control of this corridor shapes energy markets, alliances, and geopolitical leverage across continents. Now I want to hear from you. Does this operation redefine deterrence in narrow maritime environments, or does it escalate the risks of miscalculation in the world's most strategic waterways?